You don't believe in true feminism. You believe in female superiority, and you want to be in charge so you can display the same toxic masculinity that you about.
You cannot call yourself a feminist if you don't care about equality of the sexes.
In reality, toxic feminists want all men to be bad. They don't want any good men to be out there. Feminism originally started as a powerful movement for equality, fighting for women's right to vote, to work, to be treated as full human beings. But a new age has come that has twisted it into becoming something a little bit ironic. The irony? Toxic feminism is starting to look a lot like the toxic masculinity that we all hate so much. Now, before we dive into this video, I want you to watch the whole video, get to know your girl a little bit, and see if you would consider subscribing. All right, toxic feminism. Let's talk about it. What is feminism? The textbook definition of feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. In other words, it means a woman should have the right to the same things and opportunities as a man, like jobs, equal pay, the right to vote, her body, her choice, things like that. The main goal is to end sexism, discrimination, and violence against women. Introduction into when feminism turns toxic. Feminism is supposed to be women being equal to men. The same position a man can have, a woman can do too. That's what feminism is supposed to be. Equality, live life equally, and no superiority. But these so-called feminists think that they're better than men and think that we don't need them at all.
Ike, you have to be honest. Am I ugly, yes or no?
This one's going to booty tickle a few of you men out there. But let me just say, women for sure do it better.
And that is when it becomes toxic feminism. And I'll keep it straight. Feminists don't want to be equal, they want to be better.
I just love women so much, honestly. They are just the best. I'm sorry, men. Just women are they're the better sex. I'm sorry, it's just facts. Without us, there would be no mankind. And I know you can argue, obviously, it takes two to tango, but you're not carrying a baby. That's our stop. Anyway, that is like literally beside the point. I just wanted to say, I was talking to the lady, we got talking about how I moved up here, and I was like, look, life's a bit all over the shop, doll. I just got out of a 5-year relationship. I've always been a man hater, but I really am in my era where I just can't even. And then she's like, doll, me too.
And that causes them to act just like the toxic men that we're trying to get away from. Toxic masculinity. Let's talk about toxic masculinity real quick. Toxic masculinity is the expectation of what a real man should be. Now, before I get into the examples, I am not saying that you are a toxic man if you want to be masculine, ambitious, and you want a traditional woman. I will give you 3 examples to give you a good idea of what toxic masculinity is. Number 1, emotional suppression. Real men don't cry. Number 2, dominance. You're the man, you're in charge, which will make them think that they have power over women, giving them all control over her. Number 3, rejecting vulnerability. Rejecting vulnerability. Guys, I do not know how to say that word right. I promise I know what it is. I just do not know how to say it right. Vulnerability. Vulnerability. You know what I'm trying to say. Rejecting vulnerability. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, asking for help creates weakness, which will make them not address trauma. They won't go to therapy or talk to their friends about deep things. A man that has toxic masculinity is an insecure, trauma-filled man.
Talk about toxic masculinity for a minute. Usually a man who is toxic, a man who is alpha, is nothing but a man who is insecure and refused to do healing work that he needs to do from his childhood or past relationships. That man is overcompensating for what he truly feels on the inside, because that man refuses to feel his emotions. He's too scared to actually do the deep dive that he needs to do to heal. So he creates this persona of this alpha, be it muscles, money, whatever it is. He creates this persona to make him feel better. That man is a ticking time bomb. I used to be that man. I used to be a ticking time bomb because I wanted the world to know that I was an alpha, that I was the man. I was big and strong and I made money and I was always in control. Truth was, I was never in control because I did not have control of my emotions. I did not have control of who I was as a man. So when we talk about toxic masculinity, instead of hating these men, we need to have understanding and compassion because they are some of the most damaged men on the planet. Because a man who can actually share his emotions and feel his emotions is on the right track to true masculinity. True masculinity is being able to open up, to share, to actually get things off your chest in a balanced manner, and to actually look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm going to be my most authentic self. I'm going to show the world who I truly am, and I'm not going to show the world this persona of what I want them to see. I'm going to show them the real me. That's true masculinity. So for all the men that want to share toxic comments on my post, go ahead. I'm not mad at you. I actually have compassion and understanding for you because I used to be right where you are.
Again, this is not me saying that a toxic man is someone that is strong and very masculine before some of y'all start to tussle. Toxic masculinity and feminism. Now let's get into how toxic masculinity goes into feminism. These men think that they should be in charge because they're the man, they're the boss. And a woman should stay home and take care of the kids because that's a woman's job. So when women want to have equal power and be the bosses instead of the employees, they'll start to feel threatened, saying women are too emotional to lead. A toxic man will feel useless or threatened when a woman is being more successful or making more money than him, or when they are in a higher position because their worth is tied to being the boss. And before some man says, no woman is intimidated by a woman's success, just because you aren't and the men around you aren't, that does not mean that other men are not. Because I promise you, there are a lot of insecure men out there. Just because you aren't, doesn't mean that the next man ain't.
Men ain't intimidated by strong women. No, you may not be. But quit thinking that you represent all men. You don't date men. You don't understand how a man can feel in a relationship with a woman that's outperforming him. Yes, he is okay with this woman out excelling him when it comes to raising the children because she's a woman, she should be. But what if she's out excelling him when it comes to her career, her direction, her ability to think? You don't think that some insecure men, that will be repelling for him? And you quickly dismiss a woman's experience. It's your attitude because you want her to still be the villain. Some feel small when they're in a relationship with a woman that stands tall. Feel weak when they're in a relationship where a woman is strong. And for y'all to get up here and say, no, it's your attitude. That woman can be the most docile woman, the most mild-mannered, feminine woman. But best believe, if she's assertive, she's a leader in her own right, she brings more bacon to the household, she ain't got to say shit. Because that man's insecurities, those demons will speak to him.
That's just a man insecure with his own success and will probably think that his woman thinks that she's better than him because she's making more dough. A good woman will not throw her success in your face and will stick with you as you're coming up. And a good man will not feel threatened that a woman is strong and educated. And before a man says, some women do think that they're better because they make more money than their boyfriend or something, that's not a good woman. One experience from a woman does not mean that all women act that way. You just don't have a good woman in your life. You just do not have a good woman in your life.
This is Editing Me, and I'll also say, if you continue to believe that every woman is going to treat you like trash because they're more successful than you, then that's your fault. If you keep speaking these bad women onto yourself, then that's what you're going to receive. Power is in the tongue.
All right, so we know what toxic masculinity is. Let's talk about toxic feminists. What makes a toxic feminist? All men are bad. All men want is your body. Men are only good for their wallets. You're going to hate to hear this, but what you're doing is categorizing all these men to be terrible the same way these toxic men say that all women are weak and emotional. And yes, I am aware of the statistic of men being terrible, like physical and sexual abuse. You can't be a feminist, meaning equal to men, and downplay them at the same time. An example of toxic feminism is downplaying a man's feelings. When a man talks about their mental health and how it's seen as weakness and that they can't talk about it like girls do, a woman is quick to say, but who set that system up? And I will say that that is somewhat true because of the whole toxic masculinity thing. A lot of fathers do teach their sons not to cry and to man up. Another thing a woman will say when a man talks about their mental health is, try being a woman, y'all always had it easy. That is denying empathy. One of the things that feminism fought for. You can talk about what a woman has gone through without putting down a man because that's just how it's always been. Now, this is just me talking. I would never think that a man crying is showing weakness. Jesus wept. Come on now, bruh. I think that it shows strength because what you did was made yourself vulnerable. The whole toxic masculinity, real men don't cry, in front of someone. This goes for everybody. Letting that stuff out is what is going to get you to come out on top. Now, what I said with how some women will really do men like that, that is kind of crazy because what you're doing is pushing toxic masculinity onto him just because he's a man. And if it's a feminist doing that, like, no, it doesn't even matter if it's a feminist or not. Why are you doing that? Because if a man were to push on the whole weak thing onto you, you would be mad. Because what are you going to do when y'all get in an argument and you start to cry and think with your emotions? Now you're going to say all women are emotional. Are you hormonal? Are you on your period? That right there is man using emotion to deny your seriousness. And for a woman, you're using his strength to deny his feelings because he's a man and that's showing weakness, meaning he's weak for showing pain. Instead of valuing those traits, they're being used as weapons. So why are you as a feminist denying a man's mental health? Lack of accountability. Another example of a toxic feminist is accountability. Women want men to take accountability for what they put women through, but they let women have a pass.
I see who the real narcissists are. It's us women! I made a video saying I don't never believe the women first until I hear both sides. Everybody in the comments was like, oh yeah, it's giving pick me, it's giving men pick me. And then this lady, she posted a video because she was in the gym and the guy was like, I just commend you for wearing a full skirt, you know, like I don't see it a lot lately. And somebody else was like, it's giving male validation. You women are the wolf in sheep's clothing. You guys are the devil. Oh my God. It's so clear. Women try to portray this image that men are just horrible people when in reality, it's us.
Some women will use their victimhood as an excuse for being irrational. There are countless double standards out there. If a man cheats, of course he would. He would have done it eventually. He's trash. But if a woman cheats, it's because the man wasn't emotionally feeling her needs. Yes, I know that is not always the case. I know that women are also shamed for cheating, but let's be for real. Sometimes that is a reason for women cheating. That's an excuse for women cheating. If a woman were to do something that a man has done, the world will react way differently. But they get a pass because they're a girl, so it's not that serious. Women need to hold other women accountable for their actions. And no, I'm not saying that all women think that women get a pass for everything. I'm just talking about the ones that, but what I'm talking about.
Y'all, why did I just leave from getting a wax and this girl just tried to give me a happy ending? I don't know how to feel about it, but let's talk about it. Okay, y'all, now that I'm in my car, I literally had to make up something to get up out of there because she was getting a little too freaky. And I'm not into that type of stuff. Like, I don't do that type of stuff. And I should have known something was going on when, let me just talk about it because, I'm just a little overstimulated because I just can't believe this that literally happened to me. Like,
that woman was getting sexually assaulted and people were making a joke out of it. Girls were making a joke out of it. Apparently, it's not a problem when a woman is doing it to another woman. But if it was a man, look at the real comments that people have left under it. That's crazy and unprofessional. What's her act? Unfortunately, I would have fell victim and smiled. Girl, that's wrong. Where is she located? Who's your wax lady asking for my homegirl? She take walk-ins? That is a prime example of women not holding other women accountable, but if it was a man. All the stereotypes for a man would have been put on the table. Weaponizing victimhood. Women go through terrible things at the hands of other men. Whether it was a bad relationship, where the woman was abused or manipulated, or women that have been assaulted by men. According to the World Health Organization, 30% of women worldwide have been physically or sexually abused by their partner or a random in their lifetime. According to UN Women, 1 in 3 women, estimated to about 736 million, have been subjected to physical and or sexual abuse by non-partners or their partners. If you want to read more about that, those articles will be in the description box. I'm a woman. I know how bad it can get. And that is a valid reason for women to be cautious of men. But do I think that you should let those things control your life forever? That's where growth and therapy comes in. You can't live your life stuck in the past, and I know it is extremely hard to get past abuse in any kind of way. I think of it as a cause and effect. When you're ready, you need to take a different route to avoid these things. like carrying a gun with you, or taking self-defense classes, or taking a break from relationships. I am not saying at all that it is your fault for getting abused in any kind of way. This is a time to know the signs and to learn what you need to stay away from. In some cases, you think you have the perfect man and then he flips on you like a switch. And there are multiple cases where a man cannot handle rejection or the "what were you wearing" exhibit. So I know exactly what a man can do, and that is exactly why this is a difficult topic that I know a lot will disagree with. In my own experience, I have experienced bad men and came from a father that wasn't exactly the best. So I know, but victimhood can be turned into a weapon. Women will use the statistics against every man, saying, "Look at the statistics, every man is bad." If their boyfriend cheats on them, all men are bad, instead of looking at the individual. In reality, toxic feminists want all men to be bad. They don't want any good men to be out there. If there's a good man, it doesn't matter because he's going to be thinking about another woman anyway. I made this point earlier, but if a man talks about what they've gone through, try being a woman, we have it worse. And I will say, I do think that women do go through more than a man does. Like our body is going through pregnancy, birth, menopause, periods in general. Or how people don't take us seriously and a woman is always getting blamed for something a man is doing. And being objectified no matter what we wear. But does that mean that one going through more things means that the other side just isn't valid because it's not common and it's not that serious? No, it is not. That is invalidating everything that they're going through because you got it worse. You being a feminist and never wanting to listen to a man is completely ironic. Women originally fought to be heard, and you don't want to listen to a man because women haven't been heard their whole lives. So why do we need to listen to a man that's always been heard? Let me ask you this. Do you always want to be painted as the victim? It seems very tiring to be living in a world that you want to victimize 24/7. The problem with equality. Women want equality until it's things like paying for the bills, paying for the first date, women going to war. The same woman that preaches about equality will see gender roles switched, like a woman being the breadwinner and the man staying at home, and not like it. All of a sudden, a woman is being stupid for being with a man that isn't being a man. But you want to be equal, so why can't you do what a man does and provide, and why can't he do what a woman does and stay at home? Gender roles go hand in hand and should not be used as weapons. A wife and a husband should have their roles that make the household because they are a team. And of course, one will be over the other. Think of it as the workplace. There's a boss and there's employees. The boss will make the final decision with the ideas and contributions that the employees made. And in return, they will make sure that the employees are well taken care of. Now, husband and wife. Being a husband does not mean using your power to make your wife a slave. And the wife should not spend her whole life picking up after her husband and doing everything for him like she's his mother. So many women hate on other women for wanting to be traditional because of the people that twist what a real marriage is supposed to be like. There are some women that think their whole identity is their husband. So many married women think their lives revolve around serving their husband and being a good wife for them.
Can we just admit that we want to be in the kitchen? That we want to cook and clean? Who's we? I'm a Christian woman. I will serve my husband, okay? If he's a long day at work, you bet. I'll make dinner. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna serve my husband because that's what God calls me to do. My first ministry is to my husband and to my family, okay? But I hate the idea that some women put out that their only purpose on this earth is to clean up after their husband and do his dishes or do his laundry. God put you with your spouse for a kingdom purpose to further his kingdom. Yes, it is an amazing call to be a wife. That is beautiful. That is great. If that's what you want to do, you just want to serve your husband, that's beautiful. But also, God calls us to more. Your life does not start when you get married, when you get a spouse. Your life starts when you serve Jesus. God has put too many gifts in you for you to think your only calling is to be in the kitchen.
And if that's the only thing that you're worried about as a wife, then you just need help. Gender roles go hand in hand. Some things women do better than men. Some things men do better than women. Does that mean that we need to go on a war to see who's better? No. Am I saying that a woman cannot do something that a man can do and can do said thing better? No, I'm not saying that at all. You most definitely can do something that a man can do, and a man can do something that a woman can do. It is not a bad thing that some things are man-coded and some things are women-coded. So what do you guys think? Do you think that feminism has lost its original definition and become into something new? Or am I just reading into it a little bit too much? Well, we made it to the end of the video, and I hope you guys consider subscribing, and I hope you have a blessed day or night. Bye!